Every day I wake up knowing my stutter is part of me, but it does not control me. In this video, I'm going to share my daily routine that helped me speak with confidence, reduce anxiety, and actually enjoy speaking again. If you stutter and want real practical tools, not just theory, this video is for you. And stay to the very end because I've got a free giveaway, my stuttering and anxiety action plan. Let's dive in. Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. McCool. I'm a GP from Ireland and a stuttering advocate. I run a free online platform called Stutterconnect where people who stutter can meet and greet one another and share tips, advice and motivational content to help them navigate their personal lives while dealing with the stutter. On Stutterconnect and others, I have helped over hundreds of people in managing their stutter and reducing the control that a stutter has over their lives. And today I want to share some of my tips and advice with you. With overcoming a stutter, there is no one size fits all. Different things work for different people. You might find this video valuable, you might not. You might find some parts of this video valuable, but you need to incorporate it into your own life and your own daily routine because you have to practice more of what works best for you in overcoming and controlling your stutter. What works for me won't work for you, but I certainly think and hope that you will get something valuable out of this video and helping you navigate a life with a stutter. This is not about a stuttering cure. It's about living your fullest life with a stutter, not letting it burden and control you and everything that you do in your life, not letting it affect your mental health, causing depression or anxiety. This is about living with a stutter, controlling your stutter, and living fully with a stutter, and reaching your full potential in everything that you do in your life. The first thing that I do every morning is 10 minutes of mindful breathing. I sit on the edge of the bed and I take full breaths in through my nose and out through my mouth. I really feel the air go in through my nose. I hold the breath in at the top and I let the breath out through my mouth. This is called physiological sigh breathing. Short inhales through your nose and long, slow exhalations through your mouth. This helps reduce your morning cortisol, helps reduce stress, helps reduce the burden of the sympathetic nervous system, and helps the parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system kick in, helping you reduce your fear and anxiety throughout your day and helps you control your stuttering. The next thing I do is vocal warm-ups. I start reading aloud for at least 10 minutes every morning. I really exaggerate slow speaking and pausing and even adding voluntary stuttering at the start of my reading aloud. This helps me warm up my diaphragm and warm up my vocal cords and my articulators, all of which are important for speech production. Once I've done 10 minutes of this voluntary stuttering, pausing, and reduced rate of speaking, I go into normal reading aloud, normal rate of speaking for another 5 minutes. This helps me get into the fluent mindset and helps me getting used to speaking like a normal person and not stuttering and stammering and blocking on every second word. The next thing I do is positive affirmations. This speaks to my subconscious and stops the negative self-talk. Too many people who stutter have negative self-talk. I can't speak right today. I'm going to have a terrible day. I've got a lot of anxiety about my work, about my public speaking, about the talk I have to make. But you need to reframe this negative self-talk into positive self-talk, and you do that by affirmations. I tell myself that I am going to be in control of my speech today. I'm going to face all my fears today. I'm not going to avoid any words today. If I do stutter today, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. And I am going to have a great day speaking. These positive affirmations give me the tools to go out into the world with confidence, no matter what happens in that day with my speech, either a good day or a bad day. But once you start off the day on a positive note, you're giving yourself the best chance when you leave that door. The next thing in my day when I leave my house and meet real people, I am really intentional about how I speak to my first few people. I am really pausing, really slowing down my speech, using fewer words per breath while maintaining good eye contact. You don't want to jump into your first few social contacts of the day and encounter a bad stuttering block. This will set you up for the day in a bad tone. You need to get those daily wins, and you need to get them early in the day in the real world with real people. Once you get these wins and you're off to a good start, it should help you regain control over your speech over the coming hours of that day. The other thing in my day is I add a bit of voluntary stuttering wherever I can. This voluntary stuttering helps me regain a sense of control over my speech. As if I go for fluency throughout the whole day, I know that this will not last. But if I add sprinkles of voluntary stuttering, either in the real world or on the phone, this shows my listener who I truly am and helps me regain control. Because when I used to try to be a fluent speaker and hide my stutter, that is when the blocking, the stammering, the stuttering happened. But when I opened up and showed who exactly I am, a person with a stutter, I was all of a sudden well able to control my speech. Because ask yourself, when you speak aloud by yourself, are you fluent? If the answer is yes to that question, there is nothing wrong with your physical mechanics of speech. Your stutter is a psychological stutter, just like mine. So you need to start sprinkling voluntary stuttering and start telling the people in your life, your family, your friends, your co-workers, that you have a stutter. You don't have to make a song and dance about it, but just put it in every so often in a conversation. Make it natural so that it doesn't become socially awkward. Because at the end of the day, people don't care that you have a stutter. Your friends don't care. Your co-workers don't care. The person on the end of the phone line doesn't care. But you do. And as I go along my day, there is nothing in my day that I avoid. I work as a GP. I see 30 patients a day. I make about 20 phone calls on top of that. There is no word that I avoid. There's no situation that I avoid. There's nothing that I avoid in terms of speech. I face everything, no matter how high or low the fear is, because once I face those fears and get those daily wins, that is teaching my self-conscious, my subconscious, that I can do it, that I can control my speech. And the more wins that you have, the more confidence that you have. But you have to get those wins in the real world and not just in speech therapy or a stuttering group. You need to bring the teachings from your speech therapy or your stuttering group out to the real world, because that is where the real battle happens, in the real world with real people, because that's where stutters get into trouble and lose control. The other thing that I use if I do have a feared word is costal breathing. If my subconscious is telling me that I'm going to stutter on a word and I know that I will have to say it, before saying that word, I will pause. I will take a deep breath in, fast and full, through my lungs until my chest expands. At the top of this breath, I will say the word that I want to say. This helps me overcome the freezing, the blocking, by giving the diaphragm its full range of motion. I'll give you an example. If my feared word is stutter, I would say it like this. Stutter. So I took a full costal breath. I said the word at the top of a full and fast costal breath, and I let the air out after I said that word. This helps to counteract the blocking that comes along with feared words. The next part of my day is at the evening and at the end of the day, where I sit and reflect. I sit and reflect what kind of day I had. Did I have a good speaking day today? Did I have a mediocre one? Did I have a bad one? And if I had a good, mediocre, a bad day, what caused that? Why did I have a good day today? What worked for me in this day? What didn't work? So you need to self-reflect every evening about what is working for your speech and what is not working for your speech. Because if you don't do this self-reflection, you won't know what is working for you. And once you find out the thing that works for you, you need to double down on that, and you need to do more of that. If it's reading aloud, if it's slowing, if it's voluntary stuttering, whatever, but you need to do more of what works for you, because we're all different and there's no one size fits all. With this self-analyzing, you need to iterate the following day. You need to do more of what's working and less of what's not working for you. You need to be honest with yourself. But this is the only way to constantly improve. You need to constantly self-analyze, iterate and improve for the next time. The more you fail, the more you'll eventually win. But it comes from self-reflection. So that is the gist of my daily routine and exercises and tips for overcoming my stuttering. And life can get busy, so not every day that I get time to do this, but I try to incorporate most of these things most days because I've realized how damaging a stutter can be. And I realize the pain of going through my day with an uncontrolled stutter. Once you have the pain of your why, this gives me the motivation to engage with these daily activities to help me speak. We all have a why. And what is your why? Why do you want to get better? Ask yourself that now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like this video, like and subscribe, drop a comment below. What daily exercises have helped you with your stutter? Share this video with any stutter communities that may benefit from it. Have a look at down below for my daily action plan for overcoming stuttering, which is my ebook and my online course, Living Your Best Life with a Stutter, which I have created for you to live without the shackles of having a stutter and regain a sense of control over your life and your speech. You can also get my freebie down below, my doctor-led stuttering and anxiety action plan, which is something that I've created with my experience of being a doctor and a person who stutters. Remember, everybody, to really change your life, you have to change your daily habits. If you're serious about overcoming and improving your stutter, you need to change your daily habits. There is no procrastination. There is no putting off to tomorrow or next week. Just remember the pain of having a stutter and the shame, the anxiety, the guilt, the depression, the low self-esteem. And that should give you motivation enough to act today to improve your speaking. Because if I can do it, you can do it also. Best luck, everybody.